President Bush speaks to the nation in about 6 minutes. We'll bring you his weekly radio address live.
Plus, all the latest developments in the war on terrorism. CNN continues right now. Stay with us.
Depend on CNN.
It's 10 a.m. on the East Coast, 7 a.m. on the West. Today is Saturday, November 3rd. Good morning.
From the CNN Center in Atlanta, this is CNN's continuing coverage of America Strikes Back. I'm Kira Phillips.
And I'm Martin Savage. Thank you for joining us. Well, here are the latest developments now as America strikes back against terrorism. The Pentagon says U.S. crew members were successfully rescued from Afghanistan after their search and rescue helicopter crashed due to bad weather. We're told the crew members were rescued by another helicopter and their injuries are not life-threatening. Bad weather is also being blamed for a missing unmanned Predator drone. The U.S. refutes Taliban claims that drone was shot down. Intense U.S.-led airstrikes today hit in and around a village just north of Afghanistan's capital of Kabul. The bombing lasted about an hour and a half. Meanwhile, the opposition Northern Alliance claims it has captured big parts of a Taliban-held district south of Mazar-Sharif. The claim cannot be independently confirmed at this particular time. Pakistan is fighting its own war against bioterrorism. Pakistan's science minister says 2 people have been exposed to anthrax. They have not shown symptoms of the disease. Also, the official says at least one of the 4 suspect letters contained anthrax. We're told the letters were sent to 3 locations: a national newspaper, a computer company, and a bank. And in New York, a firefighter protest at Ground Zero yesterday turned into a fistfight with police. The firefighters were protesting the city's cutback in the number of workers at the recovery site. Police arrested 12 people, including 11 active firefighters. Charges include rioting and assault. At least 5 police officers were hurt during those clashes.
Now for the fight for control inside Afghanistan. The Northern Alliance opposition is claiming a substantial victory in northeastern Afghanistan. This is happening as Allied forces launch intensive bombing attacks on the front lines. Northern Alliance commanders say they have captured large portions of an area near the Taliban stronghold of Mazar-Sharif. They are also saying hundreds of Taliban fighters have either defected or have been captured. The reports cannot be independently confirmed. Meanwhile, the Taliban say morale is high and even claim to have downed an unmanned U.S. drone. The U.S. disputes that claim. Well, let's move on to see what the Pentagon planners are saying about this bombing and whether it's having the effect that they want. CNN's Jonathan Aiken is at the Pentagon this morning. Jonathan, what can you tell us?
Well, good morning, Kira. You were mentioning the fighting around Mazar-i-Sharif. Pentagon officials in the past have called it difficult and tough, but they're very pleased with the efforts that have been underway over the past day or so to soften up those Taliban lines and hopefully give these Northern Alliance troops the opportunity they've been waiting for to make some advances. And as you mentioned, they claim to have advanced on some property not far from that town, reports that can't be independently confirmed. When it comes to passing along compliments, the Northern Alliance commanders, for their part, returning the favor after a few days of being somewhat critical of B-52 bombing of the Taliban front lines north of Kabul. They're saying the latest efforts over the past several days and the attacks by F-18s today have been more precise and more effective in decimating those lines. In fact, to the point they say that the number of Taliban members defecting to their side has increased. Kira?
Can you tell us now about these reports of the downed U.S. military aircraft?
Sure can. We have 2 reports to pass along. First one involves a helicopter that went down on a search and rescue mission in Afghanistan. We are told that 2 choppers were flying in. One went down in bad weather as it was attempting to land. A second chopper was able to land successfully, managed to get the 4-person crew of that first chopper out. Those 4 people said to be in good condition, being treated for what the Pentagon calls non-life-threatening injuries. After those choppers had left the region, F-14 Tomcats assigned to the USS Theodore Roosevelt in the Arabian Sea went back to the location where the helicopter crashed, and they destroyed the helicopter, presumably so the Taliban wouldn't be able to get a hold of it. Kira?
All right, Jonathan Aiken live at the Pentagon. Thanks so much.
Prime terrorist suspect Osama bin Laden lashes out at the United States and the United Nations in a videotape that was broadcast today by Al Jazeera Arab language television. Bin Laden says the United States has no proof to justify its attacks in Afghanistan. He calls the United Nations an instrument of crime against Muslims and says, quoting now, "Those who want to solve our problems at the UN are hypocrites. Our suffering is caused by the UN," unquote. Al Jazeera broadcast the tape this morning, calling it a new statement by bin Laden, but did not say when it was recorded. Well, the U.S. military campaign and the growing anthrax threat, just two pressing issues on President Bush's agenda this weekend. He's at Camp David, Maryland, meeting with his national security team. CNN's Kelly Wallace is with the president near Camp David with more. Kelly?
Hello there, Martin. Well, the president met with his National Security Council this morning for about 30 minutes, and just moments from now, the president's radio address, his weekly radio address, will be broadcast, and this the first time the president devoting his entire address to the issue of anthrax. This after the administration has come under criticism over the past several weeks for its handling of these cases of anthrax, whether it was quick enough to respond and why at some times different agencies were saying different things about the threat. So look for the president to offer a bit of an explainer about what the federal government knows, and also look for Mr. Bush to try to calm and reassure Americans about the issue of anthrax, saying that the federal government is doing everything it possibly can. Here now, the president. Let's listen.
Good morning. As all Americans know, recent weeks have brought a second wave of terrorist attacks upon our country. Deadly anthrax spores sent through the U.S. mail. There's no precedent for this type of biological attack, and I'm proud of the way our law enforcement officers, our healthcare and postal workers, and the American people are responding in the face of this new threat. At this point in our investigation, we have identified several different letters that contained anthrax spores. Among them were the letters mailed to Senate Majority Leader Tom Daschle on Capitol Hill, NBC News in New York, and the New York Post newspaper. 4 Americans have died as a result of these acts of terrorism. At least 13 others have developed forms of anthrax disease, either in the lungs or, less severely, on the skin. Public health officials have acted quickly to distribute antibiotics to people who may have been exposed to anthrax. When anthrax exposure is caught early, preventative treatment is effective. Anthrax can be treated with many antibiotics, and several pharmaceutical companies have offered medicine at reduced prices. The government is swiftly testing post offices and other sites for anthrax spores, and is closing them where potential threats to health are detected. We are working to protect people based on the best information available, and as we deal with this new threat, we are learning new information every day. Originally, experts believed the anthrax spores could not escape from sealed envelopes. We now know differently, because of cases where postal workers were exposed even though the envelopes they processed were not open. Anthrax apparently can be transferred from one letter to another, or from a letter to mail sorting equipment. But anthrax is not contagious, so it does not spread from human to human the way a cold or a flu can. Anthrax can be killed by sterilization, and the Postal Service is purchasing sterilizing equipment to be installed across the country. More than 30 billion pieces of mail have moved through the Postal Service since September the 11th, so we believe the odds of any one piece of mail being tainted are very low. But still, people should take appropriate precautions. Look carefully at your mail before opening it. Tell your doctor if you believe you may have been exposed to anthrax. An excellent summary of the symptoms of this disease can be found on the website of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, www.cdc.gov. Remember, doctors warn that you can put your health at risk by taking antibiotics when you don't need them, so use antibiotics only after consulting a healthcare professional. If you see anything suspicious or have useful information, please contact law enforcement authorities. The Postal Service and the FBI have offered a reward of up to $1 million for information leading to the arrest and the conviction of the anthrax terrorists. And those who believe this is an opportunity for a prank should know that sending false alarms is a serious criminal offense. At least 20 individuals have already been arrested for anthrax hoaxes, and we will pursue anyone who tries to frighten their fellow Americans in this cruel way. We do not yet know who sent the anthrax, whether it was the same terrorist who committed the attacks on September the 11th, or whether it was the other international or domestic terrorists. We do know that anyone who would try to infect other people with anthrax is guilty of an act of terror. We will solve these crimes, and we will punish those responsible. As we learn more about these anthrax attacks, the government will share the confirmed and credible information we have with you. I'm proud of our citizens' calm and reasoned response to this ongoing terrorist attack. Thank you for listening.
And there you heard President Bush again devoting his entire radio address to the issue of anthrax, definitely trying to calm any concerns on the part of the American people. You heard Mr. Bush say anthrax is not contagious. He also talked about how the federal government and the Postal Service are taking precautionary measures to make sure the mail is safe. This address, though, coming at the end of a week where we did learn that a woman in New York died of inhalation anthrax, and law enforcement officials still do not know how she contracted that disease. We also heard the president do a bit of a defense of the federal government, saying it is learning new information every day, that there is no precedent, he said, to this biological attack. And then, Marty, though, Mr. Bush closing, making it clear that the administration, law enforcement, still does not know who is responsible for producing this anthrax and for sending it in the mail, saying the administration still doesn't know if it is someone here in the United States or from a international terrorist. Marty, back to you.
All right, Kelly Wallace reporting to us live near Camp David this morning. Thank you very much, Kelly. Kira?
Well, let's turn now to the recovery efforts in New York. Police and firefighters clashed at the site of the World Trade Center debris yesterday, and CNN's Brian Palmer was there and is there. Brian, any activity there this morning?
Good morning, Kira. Well, recovery operations do continue here. It's relatively quiet, at least compared to yesterday. We might as well go ahead and roll that video for you. Yesterday, when New York City firefighters scuffled with New York City police officers as the firefighters were trying to protest New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani's decision to scale back the number of uniformed personnel who can participate in the recovery operations on a day-to-day, shift-by-shift basis. Previously, we've had dozens of firefighters picking through this rubble looking for remains. The mayor scaling that number back to 24 firefighters, 24 police officers per shift. The mayor says it's about safety. The fewer people on site, the fewer people who will get injured from this heavy machinery. You've got cranes, you've got excavators operating on a 24/7 basis. The firefighters are accusing the city of essentially trying to speed up the recovery operation in order to return this very valuable patch of real estate, basically to put it back into business as usual. What they say they want to do, they say their goal is simply to recover the remains of their fallen colleagues and everyone else killed at the World Trade Center on September 11th.
We're not talking about just firemen and cops. Let me tell you something. We don't walk over civilians to get the firemen. We give them the respect that they deserve. They're victims in this too.
Now, just to put this back into perspective again, Kira, between 4,000 and 5,000 people are assumed to be killed on September 11th. That's depending upon which estimate that you go with. 542 of those people are confirmed dead, but only about 500 have been identified. There are over 200 firefighters who are still not accounted for. Now, again, just to put it in perspective, there were 7 memorial services for firefighters today, yesterday, 11 more today. Very emotional issue for the New York City Fire Department. Kira?
And you can definitely understand why they want to go back in there and find the remains because it's been happening as of just a few days ago. Brian, another question. You mentioned some of the dangers, the cranes and some of this machinery. Is that the only concern? Is that why they don't want so many people in there right now and firefighters in right now, or are there other safety concerns?
Well, there are plenty of safety concerns. We were talking to the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. That's the part of the Labor Department responsible for worker safety. They called this site, quote, the most dangerous workplace in America. Very high number of eye injuries and lung injuries. So yes, safety is a concern. The firefighters saying they're taking all the precautions that they can, but their priority, again, is to get those remains out of there. Kira?
CNN's Brian Palmer, thank you so much.
More and more Americans are turning to their inbox instead of their mailbox.
That's right, a look at the nature of e-business and online activity and how it's changed since this anthrax scare.
Today at IBM.com, Leon and Mike from corporate are here to talk about the incredibly powerful IBM NetVista A series.
This computer is so great, you could alter the trajectory of interstellar spacecraft.
We can't say that legally.
It has a super powerful Intel Pentium 4 processor, 1.5 gigahertz, 20 gig hard drive, 128 megs of RAM, $899. You could predict the weather years in advance with pinpoint accuracy and... decode the human genome with this bad boy.
Leon.
Defeat a Russian chess champion, which is
Yeah,
not...
Leon.
The NetVista A-Series is perfect for power-hungry small businesses. It's backed by IBM with an Intel Pentium 4 processor, so it can run multiple business apps at once. Enhanced multimedia, 3D collaboration, voice recognition software.
You could clone the girl who sat behind you in homeroom.
Leon.
Order the seriously fast NetVista A22P for $899 and you can get a 15-inch monitor free.
Hey, Mike, just let's loosen the tie a little bit. You know what I mean, buddy?
It's not me. It's the legal system.
Passion for journalism, compassion for the story. Start your news day with Paula Zahn. Another reason why you can depend on CNN.
¿Quieren pasar? Sí. Ven al club de niños y niñas, te vas a divertir.
How can VHIX.com help you decide on what vehicle to buy? With smart, thorough, unbiased, up-to-date research. And if you're trying to decide between a couple of different vehicles, at VHIX.com you can compare them. Side by side, head to head, feature by feature, option by option, dollar for dollar. Try the side-by-side comparison at VHIX.com. It's your roadmap to the automotive world.
As America strikes back, depend on CNN.
I'm Andre. I was born in Brazil.
From Singapore.
From Russia. I was born in South Africa.
Seoul, Korea. My name is Edward.
I'm an American.
My family is of Irish descent, and I am an American.
Sikhism believes in universal brotherhood.
Our grandparents are Irish and Swedish.
I have lived in America for the last 13 years.
I am an American.
The anthrax scare is changing how we look at the mail, at the delivery of packages, and website operators report higher activity. More people are paying their bills and mail and making purchases online. Let's talk about this with Sean Gold, president of eUniverse. He joins us now from Los Angeles. Hi, Sean.
Hi, Kira. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you. Are you concerned at all when we're talking about e-business? What are your worries?
Well, I'm concerned, obviously, about the country, but e-business seems to be getting quite a boost in these times, not only because of the weak economy, but also because of the events since September 11th.
Well, let's talk about that boost. Direct marketing, I'm assuming that's up.
Yeah, direct marketing is up. Online commerce is going to be up this holiday season. You know, because of the economy, people are going to be looking for better price, better selection when they make probably less purchases. So the internet will benefit from that. That's one of the things that it does really well. We're probably going to have people who are concerned about shopping in malls. We're going to have people who are traveling less, so they're not going to be able to deliver packages. And of the people that do actually travel, they're going to not really be able to bring packages on planes. So I think what you're going to find is e-commerce offering a lot of convenience to people this holiday season.
And in light of this anthrax scare, are you already seeing more people paying their bills online in addition to doing this shopping online?
Oh, definitely. People, you know, whether it's rational or not, people just are not as interested in opening mail and receiving mail these days. So, you know, one of our larger customers, LowerMyBills.com, which offers a service where you can search the best prices on credit card, insurance, and things like that, has found a 100% increase in people opting in to receive online billing as opposed to paper billing.
Are more people getting online, period? Folks that maybe said, I don't want to do it with the computer, or getting online, or getting a system. Are you all of a sudden seeing new memberships?
We're seeing a significant increase in traffic to our own site, about a 30% increase since September 11th to eUniverse.com. The other thing is you're seeing a lot of people communicating via electronic communications versus traditional communications. As an example, more and more companies that are more and more marketers are using email in tandem with their direct marketing or mail marketing, sending email messages that are alerting people that they have a promotional mailing that's about to arrive at their home. And even this season, during the holiday, commerce season, you're going to see a lot of companies and a lot of individuals using email to say, hey, I've sent you a package. It should be arriving, on this date.
That's a smart idea. A heads up, yeah.
Right.
What about .coms? You think there'll be a rebound?
There's definitely going to be a rebound. I mean, the .coms are not going anywhere. The efficiencies of the internet, are here to stay. There's certainly been a lot of .com backlash because of the economy and people who've lost money in the space. But, the use of the internet and the technology and the convenience that it offers is, inevitable.
Well, Sean, before we let you go, I want to just ask you about Universe, your company specifically. Your business strategy. How has your business strategy changed since all of this, and how are you getting new business?
Our business strategy hasn't changed really all that much. I mean, what we offer on the business side, we offer a way to reach consumers efficiently with spending less money and get a quicker response. How it has changed is that more and more companies are now trying the internet because they think that they may have problems with direct mail. And when they try it, they're really just seeing the inevitable benefits that it offers.
Sean Gold, president of eUniverse, thanks so much for getting up early this morning for us.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, coming up, Hurricane Michelle, now a Category 3 hurricane. It's causing quite a stir. We'll have an update just ahead.
Plus, the spirit of America. American flags rescued from Ground Zero. Some reborn, some retired.
Critics are raving. Riding in Cars with Boys has got the goods, exclaims Gene Shalit of The Today Show. And Time Magazine calls it wonderfully acted. Drew Barrymore, Riding in Cars with Boys, rated PG-13, now playing.
When I start each morning, when my kids need a playmate.
Prozac Weekly is here. Ask your doctor if it's right for you. For a limited time, you can try Prozac Weekly for 1 month free. Visit freemonth.webmd.com to learn more and print out your coupon from Prozac Weekly. Talk to your doctor today to see if Prozac Weekly could be right for you. Prozac Weekly is here.
The more you live, the more a bladder control issue shouldn't hold you back. New Serenity Slender gives you 3 layers of protection. The core of super absorbers keeps you drier. New Serenity Slender. More protection, less bad. Now that's more you.
What does it take to be an e-business survivor? You have the basic equipment, you've mapped out a plan, and you signed on with an experienced and loyal guide. Or did you? This is your e-solution. A problem-solving, systems-integrating business animal. Count on Sprint e-solutions for everything from integrated solutions to a comprehensive hosting portfolio. We'll deploy our own solutions or bring in new ideas from a leading-edge partner. It's all detailed in Proof, our free guide on business solutions. Call 1-866-604-5421 today. You'll learn why, now more than ever, outsourcing with Sprint e-solutions can help you avoid the pitfalls of going it alone. Call for your copy now and find out how to stay above it all. For your free guide, call 1-866-604-5421 today. You'll see there's no comparison whatsoever.
Hurricane Michelle proving to be a problem down south. Brad Huffines joins us with the latest now.
Hard to believe the calendar right now, Martin and Kira. We're looking at November, a hurricane this size. Pretty strange. Hurricane season ends at the end of this month, but it's still active hurricane season, obviously, by looking at this monster now in the western Caribbean. The hurricane has been drifting north today. It's still drifting northward. The eye is wobbling just a bit, but you can tell a very mature hurricane. Winds are 130 miles an hour, a Category 3 storm. How far away from a Category 4? 1 mile per hour officially, so this is a tremendously strong hurricane. Let me show you what the hurricane is causing as far as watches and warnings are concerned right now in the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico. A tropical storm warning for the Keys of Florida from Key West all the way to the southern tip of Florida, and also a hurricane warning for the western half of Cuba. As the storm continues to move to the north, it'll hit landfall across the southern shores of Cuba, and that will be sometime tomorrow. And as the storm moves inland, expect to see some very heavy rains, flooding rains. In fact, I expect 1 to 2 feet of rain across parts of Cuba before this storm continues its track on south of Miami toward the Bahamas. As of right now, the storm track does not look like it's going to take it over Florida. That's the good news. The bad news is, though, folks down in Cuba are going to have a very rough time the next 24 to 36 hours. And this storm bears watching. Kira and Martin will be watching this on CNN, of course, for you.
Thanks, Brad.
Well, since the terror attacks in September, it seems American flags have been just about everywhere. But yesterday in Tampa, Florida, they rolled out what they claim is the biggest Old Glory ever unfurled. 505 feet long, 255 feet wide. It's as big as 2 football fields. 700 people helped to hold it up.
Some other American flags have attracted attention in the past few weeks, and not just on the radio. Aerials of SUVs. CNN's Garrick Utley has this report.
What so proudly they hailed the fans in Yankee Stadium as a tattered American flag found in the rubble of the World Trade Center gallantly waved. How so proudly they watched as the crew of the USS Theodore Roosevelt on its mission of war witnessed the raising of another flag, the one New York City firefighters had placed over the rubble. We know how the flag can push our buttons and touch the deepest emotions, which is the story of what happened when another flag was found deep in the ruins. It bears the scars of the terrorist attack. 12 of its stars are missing. Searchers at the Trade Center turned it over to a resident of New Providence, New Jersey. The local American Legion post decided to retire the flag according to protocol by burning it. But New Providence lost half a dozen of its residents September 11th, and voices were raised and passion stirred to save the flag.
This is history. I don't agree with what's going on here.
Okay, let me just say one thing, okay? They feel that there are thousands of people that died over there.
So, restore their memory. Don't burn the flag.
Please finish me. They feel that it's a memorial to all those people that died at the World Trade Center.
And what are you giving to our kids? What piece of history are you giving by burning this flag tonight?
If there was not a totally happy ending to this dispute, there was a compromise. As townspeople gathered for the burning, they learned that only a small part of the damaged flag would be placed on top of an intact flag on this patriotic pyre. The rest would be saved. In the end, the conflict here was not between right and wrong, but what was the best way to honor the flag and those who were lost. And perhaps there was the memory of that other flag which flew over Fort McHenry and survived that perilous fight. It too was badly damaged, but kept and preserved. Today, to see it makes us think and remember, as will a flag in New Providence, New Jersey. Garrick Utley, CNN.
Well, coming up, and check the latest developments in the war against terrorism. That's just ahead.
Followed by this week's edition of People in the News.
Plan a good enough getaway, you could steal Ebbets Field. Ebbets Field's gone. What'd I tell you?
Go. Heist strikes gold. A web of intrigue, betrayal, and deception. More twists than a bag of pretzels.
I'm gonna stand this thing on his head.
Hackman is terrific. He steals the show. 3.5 stars. Exhilarating. The cast is brilliant. Gene Hackman, Danny DeVito, in a film by David Mamet. Heist, rated R. Starts Friday at a theater near you.
In the past, serious and persistent mental illness meant only isolation and despair. But today, with better treatments and more support, there's new hope. For more on mental health information and resources from the Center for Reintegration, visit freeservices.webmd.com. Today, George will earn a raise, Laura will move in on her own, and Matt will create a sunrise. Visit freeservices.webmd.com. Reintegration. Back to work. Back to life.
Hello, Mrs. Lindsay. William?
Hello, Stephen.
You're not by any chance computer shopping, are you?
Mm-hmm. If I can get some help.
Well, right now, you can get a complete Dell system with an Intel Pentium 4 processor, which is so nice, for only $899.
Really?
She's intrigued. Excellent. Because right now, you don't have to make any payments for 90 days. And as far as service and support, Dell's won more awards than any other PC company in the last 5 years. Just call or go online Tell them what you want, and right to your front door comes America's favorite PC.
Thanks, Steven.
Now you can get a Dell desktop with an Intel Pentium 4 processor, which delivers performance where you need it most, and 6 months of DellNet by MSN Internet access for just $8.99. Call or go online today and make no payments for 90 days. There's great deals on notebooks too.
Dude, you're getting a Dell.
Easy to buy, easy to own, easy as Dell.
Now, CNN.com/health with WebMD offers the most comprehensive healthcare information online. From breaking news and cutting-edge treatments to alternative remedies, find the answers to your questions on CNN.com in association with WebMD.
30 minutes past the hour, authorities say a New Jersey post office may be linked to a previously unexplained case of skin anthrax. Investigators say anthrax was found in the workplace mail bin of a New Jersey bookkeeper. They suspect her mail may have been cross-contaminated at the post office where tainted letters were processed. Charges were filed today against some of the firefighters arrested after they clashed with police at the World Trade Center site. Hundreds of firefighters pushed past barricades yesterday and scuffled with police. The firefighters were protesting the city's decision to scale back the number of people searching for victims at Ground Zero. A dozen people were arrested. U.S.-led forces pounded positions along the Taliban front lines in northern Afghanistan today. Northern Alliance commanders say the bombings targeted al-Qaeda positions in the hills. The Northern Alliance also claimed its forces captured large portions of an area near the strategic city of Mazar-i-Sharif. The group says hundreds of Taliban fighters had either defected or been captured. The claims could not be independently verified. That's the news for now. Our coverage on America's war against terrorism continues at the top of the hour.
People in the News starts right now.